I'll start with the BNFT this morning. BNFT growth returns to industry as economy grows 3.8%. And this is really good news. GCB Bank hands over renovated dormitory to Tamasco. And economy loses $1.9 billion annually through post-harvest losses. So we import about $2 billion worth of food. And we lose about $1.9 billion in country. The one we produce, we lose up about $1.9 billion of that. This is something that needs attention immediately. And GTDC, digital tourism platform, harness strategic data to drive investment and sector growth. And 30 December, who shapes the narrative? That's an interesting article you'd want to read on page 5 of the BNFT.
Now, the daily guide for this morning: Kwewu Kingmakers drag Dasibre Kwame Japan to Shraj. CJ receives petitions against special prosecutor. EC boss. US blocks visas for Ghana, 74 other countries, and huge illicit drugs seized at Takra Report. We've been talking about that. Angela Liss lawyers deny her arrest is also here on the front page of the daily guide.
The Kwewu Kingmakers have dragged Dasibre to Shraj.
Yes.
Is it over the old story we know?
Well, we're told that the Kingmakers and Abene Council of Kwewu Traditional Area have petitioned Shraj to investigate conflict of interest, abuse of office, and administrative injustice engaged in by Dasibre Kwame Japan II, former board chairman of ADB. Now, the petition was signed on December 22, 2025 by Danessa Guose, a partner at Kulendi at Law, acting as solicitors for Nana Simpeo Redu the third, Abene Kruntihini, Kingmaker and head of the Abene Council of Kwewu, Nana Asiedu Kwabing the fourth, Kwewu Achiamehine, Kingmaker and member of the Abene Council of Kwewu. So the petition sets forth the material facts and provides basis for the intervention of the commission. There's a quote here. Our client invokes the investigative mandate of your office pursuant to Article 218 of the Constitution and Section 7 of the Shraj Act, which empowers the Commission to investigate allegations of conflict of interest, abuse of office, unfair treatment, and breaches of administrative justice by public officers, the petition said. It's our considered opinion that the allegations contained in the petition meet the threshold required for the intervention of your office to ascertain whether or not the respondent to our client has engaged in conduct which offends the code of conduct expected of public officials, it stated.
So the chiefs have taken Dasibre to Shraj. Okay, over. So it's related to the ADB issue then?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. I just wanted to know because I thought this one could be a new issue. Now, if you go to the overseer, Felix Kwachi Ofosu is on the front page. Lean government under Mahama saves Ghana millions. This is according to Kwachi Ofosu. The Ghana Integrated Bauxite Development, GADEC, they've signed a deal with new partners, $60 million deal to expand the Nyinehini Bauxite project. It's also on the front page of the Overseer newspaper. Elect Ken as flag bearer to secure victory. Now Toshi urges NPP delegates and economic stability, opening room for business growth. This is Nana Oye Bampo Ado. The US will not block extradition of Oforiata, said in Atamaklo. This is Ablakwa speaking. And petitions against OSP EC leadership forwarded to Chief Justice, Minister for Government Communications.
Great. The Daily Democrat for this morning, Vice President Opariado push youth agenda. The Vice President visited the Ministry of Youth and Empowerment yesterday, and so that's the story from that visit. Nungwa stool warns over illegal majo sales. Tel Aviv honors distinguished constituents, and price of premix fuel reduces significantly in January 2026. And GESM at 10 set to reset Ghana's export growth.
But Winston, what really is Ghana's agenda for the youth?
Well, I've seen the need to create some entrepreneurial spirit.
Yes, Ejumura has been launched
within the youth.
A lot of things.
And also encourage formal education. And so we've seen the free SHS leading to stress-free first year academic fees at our universities. That's what I see.
So in the next 5 years, for example, if you take a child from Nigeria, Senegal, Ghana, South Africa, Singapore, the US, China, the UK, Cuba. Give me one more country. One more.
USA.
I mentioned the US, so let's go to the Scandinavian countries.
Let's go to
Finland,
say
Denmark,
Norway.
How competitive will that Ghanaian child taken through similar training here be on the global stage?
Good question. Let's try it. Let's give it a try.
Okay. And I think it's very important that we talk about the youth and we actually make the right investments in building their capacity to be the key to drive national development. Now, let's go to the insights now, Winston. Cuba is saluting President Mahama. You know why?
Why?
This is over the bold stand on Venezuela. Yes, so the Cuban ambassador to Ghana is on the front page. There's also a photo of President John Dramani Mahama on the front page. Veep seeks corporate backing in government sanitary pad drive. And yesterday there was also a story that the Ministry of Interior had signed an agreement with Ministry of Education to use the prison service to provide key resources that the Ministry of Education needs. One of the key things is a free pad program. They want to use prisoners to produce at least 20% of that, and I think that's a good step. We need to produce a lot more of those parts locally and create more value here. Now, more from the insight. NDK bond depositors seek government relief. Customers whose funds have been locked with the NDK Financial Services and Bond Savings and Loans have appealed to President John Dramani Mahama to urgently intervene to ease their prolonged financial hardship. They've officially petitioned the government to get them some help and move beyond success to significance. Reverend Adeyemi tells leaders at JLC 2025. Nketia family dismisses petition against Okuapihima. It's also on the front page of the Insight newspaper.
Okay, let's get to the news guide Africa. NPA boss speaks at 77th New Year School on petroleum sector. New VAT regime gains wide acceptability. 6.5 billion relief for Ghanaians as prices drop. Pelican Hotel sets a new benchmark for Ghanaian hospitality. Affordable first-class luxury at the heart of Accra. And Sudan's path to peace. Prime Minister Idris presents a homegrown vision for stability to the UN Security Council. The big one here says, hooray, non-interest banking finally here as investors and banks rush for license.
My Joy Online has the US banned Ghana and Ghanaians from acquiring visas. Is the answer yes or no? Ambassador Victor Smith says the US visa pause does not affect short-term travel for Ghanaians. That story is on My Joy Online. All the details are there. Kwachi Ofosu hails one Ghana city fuel levy role in addressing energy sector indebtedness. And we want them. Nagrat says Naka knew of problem before the public outcry. And Trump administration pauses immigrant visa processing for 75 countries, including Ghana. They want to destroy our cultural identity. Nagrat alleges agenda behind gender content, and the NACA Director General has apologized as withdrawn teacher manual sparks national outrage. Amin Adam questions BOG governor over unexplained 2024 gold for reserves losses, and Agenda 111 project stall after millions paid. 35 contractors have been ordered to refund 7.9 million Ghana cedis. Those are stories on My Joy Online. Quickly, let me take you to citynewsroom.com. B1, B2 visas not affected by US immigrant visa pause. This is Ambassador Victor Smith. Current geopolitical dynamics could trigger world war. This is Festus Abaji speaking. And Ghana is Africa's trade gateway. Ofosu Ejari courts Japanese investors to invest in Ghana. And GPRTU to deploy task force to curb fair violations. That's also on City Newsroom. JUSAG and the Finance Ministry are also meeting the NLC over the JUSAG strike. That's also on citynewsroom.com. If you go to CNN.com, Trump official eyes private security contractors to safeguard oil assets in Venezuela. And you're also being told that the US has officially started selling Venezuelan oil. That story is on CNN.com.
Okay, let's get into the details, the main stories in the newspapers now. And with the Daily Guide, CJ receives petitions against SP EC boss, and we're told petitions filed against the special prosecutor Kisei Jabing and the chairperson of the Electoral Commission Jean Mensah and her two deputies have been forwarded to the Chief Justice, Justice Paul Bafoboni, for review. The Minister of State in charge of Government Communications, Felix Kwatshiofosu, has stated. Now, speaking at the Government Accountability Series in Accra yesterday, Mr. Kwatshiofosu explained that President John Dramani Mahama's role in the process ends once the petitions are transmitted to the Chief Justice, stressing that the Office of the President cannot comment further until the Chief Justice determines whether the petitions meet the threshold for a prima facie case. And the court says, unlike petitions against the Chief Justice, the President's mandate regarding those filed against the Special Prosecutor and the Electoral Commissioner and had two deputies ends with the conveying of the petitions to the appropriate office, which in this instance is the Chief Justice. That was done a couple of weeks ago, he said. A total of 10 petitions were received, 7 against the electoral chairperson of the Electoral Commission and her two deputies, and 3 against the special prosecutor. The President has no role beyond that, and in that regard, we cannot comment. The Chief Justice Office may be in a better position to provide updates. The President will once again be called to act when the Chief Justice has determined a prima facie, he added.
Now, the bond depositors, the locked up investment holders forum, their petition to the President has been published on page 3 of the Inside newspaper. It's signed by Dr. Edu A. Entry. I want to read one paragraph from this particular petition.
Okay.
They say that since May 2023, they have had several engagements with the Bank of Ghana to seek a resolution of the problem. And in a meeting with the Bank of Ghana on 27th March, after a protest march, the governor informed them that the bank intends to revoke the licenses of the institutions as they had become insolvent. And the governor indicated that the bank would do the revocation when the Ministry of Finance had provided funds for the payment of the locked up funds. Now, they are also saying that having become aware of the government's position, this government position on granting bailout to depositors with locked up funds, as publicly stated by the Minister of Finance recently, they sought and had a meeting with the Bank of Ghana on 17th of December 2025 to seek from the bank how it intends to resolve their issues. At the meeting, the bank reiterated its position that existing legal means of resolving their issue is unlikely to be satisfactory, since the assets of the affected institutions and the funds provided by the deposit insurance scheme are unlikely to be significant enough to give them the financial relief required. These bondholders, Kofi, are they really going to get their money? Are they really going to get closure?
Well, we've spoken about it. You hear communications that the government would not step in when people have not managed their institutions properly. But the question is, these banks, NBFIs had licenses, and it's the responsibility of the BOG to ensure that the right things are done. Now, many of these institutions became insolvent, sometimes also due to the domestic debt exchange. And once that happened, the expectation is that the government would step in to protect these Ghanaian depositors and persons who had saved with these financial institutions. Look, and I have talked about the NDK situation, for instance. Okay, I was at Koforidia for the Time with SEC program. And a lot of people came to me. I spoke to the founder of NDK. He doesn't deny that. He says, look, yes, that's it. We're challenged, but not because we've mismanaged. It's because of how things have gone within the general economy of Ghana. A certain decisions taken by government that has affected them. And so at this point in time, it'd be important, okay, to get in there. And when you speak to the founder, he says, if I have done anything wrong, let me be prosecuted. Take me on. But do not let these people, okay, do not hurt these people because of me. Take me on, but pay them their money.
Yeah.
Others have suggested, for instance, the conversion of these into bonds, which should be into Government of Ghana bonds, which should be paid by the state. That's something that can be done. But I do not understand why, thousands of Ghanaians left without money when government in the past has indicated that okay, if we realize that an institution is insolvent, we step in, pay the depositors, and revoke licenses. Why can't same be done for these people?
They are calling on the president to show compassion, and we join their call.
Exactly.
That the president, BOG, finance ministry, please get to the table and solve these people's problems. And a lot of them are on pension. They invested to take care of life after work, and some of them are really, really, really struggling, and they need help. Anyway, let's go to my Joe Online. US visa pause does not affect short-term travel for Ghanaians. This is according to Ambassador Victor Smith. He has clarified that the US temporary suspension in immigrant visa processing does not apply to non-immigrant visas for Ghanaians, including those for business and tourism. So you can still go for your visa for the World Cup.
For the World Cup.
Yeah.